Then you see in 1990 things begin to change, and that by 2000 there is a rather abrupt movement towards freedom across the African continent, with peak freedom probably being reached between 2006 and 2008. By then, only 29% of African countries are rated as not free by Freedom House. Now that's a remarkable change. So between 1973 and 2006, 33 years, the percentage of countries in Sub-Saharan Africa that were not free went from 70% to 29%. Okay, so there really was an abrupt movement. You'll see that there was certainly an increase in the number of countries rated as free, but most of the action inevitably was countries migrating from the not free category to the partly free category. That is, they had some of the institutions of democracy, they certainly had elections, there was more freedom, but they weren't institutionalized to the extent that they were recognized as countries with profound political and civil liberties. What's interesting is that since peak freedom between 2006 and 2008, there has been stagnation, and in more recent years, really movement back towards less freedom. If you'll see that the lowest percentage of not free countries was 29% in 2008, by 2016, it was up to 41%. Several things are going on here. You'll see that in the free category, there wasn't ever much movement beyond the high point. In that category are a set of countries that have performed well, but it's been very hard to enter that category and also relatively hard to leave, suggesting that the category has some resilience. Across Africa, only 13 countries have ever been rated free at any time by Freedom House. So you see that it's not a category which has a lot of churn in it. There have only been a small set of countries that have reached that category. It should also be noted that many of the countries in this category have very small populations, including Botswana, Cape Verde, Sao Tome, Mauritius, Namibia, although they vary obviously by geographic size. There are some countries with significant demographic heft in this category, including Ghana, Senegal, and South Africa. However, because the category of free in 2016 is dominated by small countries with small populations, only 12% of the African population lives in countries that are categorized as free. So we've been discussing the diversity of Africa. This is part of it. The population is not uniformly distributed over the dozens of countries, and that the small countries are disproportionately democratic, although not all small countries are democratic. So while 18% of the countries may be categorized as free, only 12% of the African population. The partly free and not free categories are therefore by definition overrepresented in terms of population, especially the partly free category. Basically any category that Nigeria is in, given its demographic dominance in Africa, is going to be overweighted.